Going to be taking this budget build camper van and turning it into something a lot more luxurious, a luxurious home on wheels. To do this, we're going to have to strip the entire van right out to bare metal. This is going to be interesting because we need to see whether the walls inside the camper van are actually wet or not. It's got no vapor barrier, so it's going to be interesting to see that. We're going to have to take all the units out, all the appliances out. There's only a few things we're going to be keeping, but by the end of this whole process, it's going to be a luxurious home on wheels for me to live, travel and explore full time.
Now the main question that I'm looking for is behind this panelling. It's not vapor barriered. Is it going to be sopping wet? Getting this off is going to decide whether or not we vapor barrier the next build. Now there is a few things coming over to the new build, so that means we've got to take them out first. Got to drain the last of the water tank out, so it's just literally a case of turn the tap on and let it drain. And while we're waiting for that to drain, we're going to get the hob out. This is actually going to go up for sale because the new van is going to be gasless. There's going to be absolutely no gas whatsoever. If you want to have a look, it'll probably be on Facebook Marketplace, but then again, by the time this video is uploaded, chances are I would have sold it. That really did go out smoother than I thought. For the sink, I'm just going to undo the fresh water coming in, poke it out the bottom. It'll go straight out to the outside of the van. And then I'm going to turn the pump on and just let it pump the rest of the water out the system. That is, in theory, anyway. We shall see. Let's see. Oh, that's got a lot of pressure. Turn the tap on to get rid of the excess water. Outside should just be a case of pull this hose out, drop it down just like that, leave it just there, then we can turn this switch on and the rest of the water should come out. There shouldn't be that much left in there, to be fair. For underneath the tap, I've just got a couple of little screws just there. That should just literally come off now with a big screw like that, and then the tap should just fall straight off. I want this tap in my next van. In theory, this was a tight fit, but oh no, that's not working. I was hoping to just hit it. Is it trapped? Resume in a minute. Why is this demolition just like so fun? I literally had to take the whole unit apart. What it was, the sound deadening on the sink was catching on the lip coming out, so I've just literally had to strip it apart to get it out. It's just like took so long to put it all together, and it's literally coming apart in minutes. Fridge is disconnected, so in theory it should just be a case of it walks out. We'll see what happens with that. Maybe if I open it and lift it. Oh, it's trapped on the flooring. There we go. It's coming. It's coming. Yes. That's the fridge out.
I've had so many good memories in this van. It's quite sad to strip it apart, but also really exciting for the future.
Absolutely smashing through this. It's going down so quick. This is the pop-up plug socket. Now we might need it. It's not certain whether we do need it or not, but I may as well get it out to be safe. Going to get the Scanstrut wireless charger out too. It's amazing how much stuff I actually am going to take with me over to the new van. I never expected it to be this much. I also never expected all these weird angles that I've managed to get screws in to secure some of these cabinets down. This should, hey, just come away. This is going far smoother than I originally planned. Then again, I've not touched the electrics yet. There's a lot about remembering where you put all the screws. These ones are all just hidden behind the trim, and it's a minefield. If you can't find the hidden screws, it's just gonna have to be brute force. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yes! It's just died on me. So I'm going to whack this on charge, gives me a chance to have a cup of tea so I don't burn myself out, I guess. When me English if we didn't have tea. So I just come in for a cup of tea and I'm sat there talking to one of my friends, and for ages he's been talking about starting his own business, doing competitions where you buy yourself a ticket and at the end of whatever set time frame, they'll randomly pull a ticket out and you could win that prize. And do you know what? Some incredible prizes. I've just gone onto his website. Now, the website should be live by the time I drop this, so I'll leave the links in the description for you guys to have a look. Insta360. That's the 360 action camera. Top of the range. Best one you can buy. 95p for a ticket. Less than £1, you can get an Insta360. But if you're not into like your filming and stuff, it's got some Beats Solo 3 wireless headphones. 79p for a ticket on that one, and you've got the iPhone 15 as well, 95p for the tickets on that. So do you know what, I'm going to support him just the same way he has supported me. So I don't know which one to go for. I know, I'll go for the Insta360, because can you imagine some of the epic footage I'll be able to get here? Birch leaf competitions. Just Google them. Obviously, I've got links down in the description as well. But there's your Insta360. 95p. You've got your BIRCH just over there at 79p, and an iPhone 15 down there at 95p. I'm going to go for this one, I think. You can go for as many as you want. You can buy as many tickets as you want. I think it's limited to like 1,500 tickets. But let's have a look at that. We click on participate, and when it loads up, you've got everything you need to know there. All the information. Oh, that's all the details about the actual prize itself. Go look, just look at it. Oh, you get some really good footage. Oh, look at it. Yes. Imagine the footage I'll be able to get of that riding down a hill and stuff like that. It's absolutely amazing. You just go down. Just over here, you've got one. Do you know what? I'm going to go for 5 tickets. I'll go for 5 just there. Perfectly fine. Enter draw. Boom. Straight into the actual ticket just there. Click on that. Imagine that. So I'm about to spend £4.75, and that gives me 5 chances to win an Insta360. That's mental. Check out, go through the normal details of your name, your billing details, your card details, and then jobs are good. So if you fancy your chance at winning an Insta360, some Beats headphones, or an iPhone 15, all for less than £1, the links will be in the description. Follow them as well, because they're going to have loads more epic, incredible prizes coming in the future. I'm over on their social media accounts. As I say, it's a really new company, very innovative. So there's your Instagram, and I'm going to drop it a follow. That's Birch Leaf Competitions.
Whilst I was talking to him, we were talking about like future plans of where everything's going and how we're progressing, all that sort of stuff, because he's in the business, I'm in a business, and it just sort of works out both ways, and we've got a lot in common talking wise. He was talking about how his prizes are going to get bigger and better as time goes on as well. I mean, an iPhone 15, an Insta360 and some Beats headphones, they're amazing prizes for the start of a new business. I'm wild chuffed for him. But I can't sit around drinking me tea all day. It's time to get back to work on the van.
Yeah, I've been back about 20 minutes. I let the drill charge up for like, I don't know, half an hour. And then I got bored, so I'll come back in. And since then, all hell has broke loose.
I guess we can say this is what happens when you give me a caffeinated drink. Good old-fashioned cup of tea.
So that unit's all been destroyed. It's all down. Around the chair over there, that's been done. I'm now working on the overhead storage up there. This cabinet for the sink unit, that's all undone, ready to just pull apart. I've got that chair to do, and then that board for the bed. I've undone obviously that. Now I'm just undoing all the screws on the hinges, just to sort of leaving one in each one, so I can just go around and zip, 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 just get them all off. Who let me in charge of one of these? Is it more than I thought? Yeah, because I've still got like the headboard, this to get off, that chair to get off, the bulkhead between the bed and the actual whatever. I've got all the boarding around the van to get off. It's a lot more than I thought. How did I not burn this camper van down? One of the things that's quite entertaining at the least is you see all the wires and stuff. Well, like I'm taking this down, so it means I've got to get the lights off from underneath. So it's a case of follow the wires, and then I look at the abomination of the wiring that I did last time. I had my clothes sat on top of this. How stupid was I? But then it's just tracing the right wire right down to the fuse box to get that undone. I'll tell you one thing though, I definitely built that overhead storage really sturdy. Yeah, I think we've had a good run there. Got loads off. But this is what I want to look at now, because this is just a board that was above the overhead, but as you can see, there's the thermal liner behind it. So I want to get this board off. It's only a couple of screws dotted along, and then I can start to get an idea of whether that is wet or I don't know yet. And I'm chuffed to say it's actually really, really dry, and it doesn't feel like it's even been wet. The thermal line is really good, but like I said, I haven't vapor barriered at all, so it's going to be interesting to see what it is lower down. Obviously, if it condensates up there, then runs down the wall, it's going to be the wettest down there. So the light's starting to fade. Bella's not very happy, so I won't be able to get much more footage tonight, but that's the ceiling. We've got part of it down, it's still down, and it is still bone dry. That's absolutely insane. Even around the ribs that aren't actually vapor barried, they're still really, really good. That's quite cool, I think. Does that just show that the Dodo mat has come along with the times, and it has eliminated the majority of the condensation if you use it correctly. Seems to have worked really well for me. But again, we won't really know until we get it all off, get it all down to the sides, right the way down to the bottom, and have a really good look. Good morning, it's the next day, it's my birthday today. Danielle got me a walking with the alpacas, so we get to do it as a private event, just me and her, go and walk some alpacas up Cat Bowls or one of the fowls in the Lake District, and then take them for a paddle in one of the lakes in the Lake District. That's going to be so cool, so make sure you subscribe just to see that adventure in the future. But I've just started the work in the van and I've found something out. You see, I come in with the sole purpose of trying to strip some of the sound deadening, the insulation. Now this side, I'd put it on and really pressed it up into place, and there's no condensation. That piece, however, you can see the few spots where it was actually connected to the van, and as you can tell, the bits that weren't properly connected to the van have got condensation. So it's all dry in this area, but then this little spot just up here where there was no sound deadening, no insulation, no nothing, is wet. This piece down here where it wasn't properly attached to the van, because I'd just gone straight over, that's got condensation on. So next time I put it on, I've got to make sure I get it into all the little crevices, all over all the little bumps. I mean, that one little random spot just there was underneath the sound deadening and the insulation and the fleece, and we've got one little spot there where there's moisture. So a top tip for converting a camper van, converting a van into a camper van, when you're actually adding your sound deadening, your insulation, make sure every bit of it is adhered to the ceiling of the van. But just look at the state of the van now. That's insane, the amount of wood we've got. We're going to be doing a tip run later. That down there, that's just a bag of ceiling insulation from just half the ceiling. We've already found somewhere for that to go that's going to be useful. I tell you, these like stick-on tiles, they're really good. I've just struggled to get them all off, to be able to find the screws to get like the window ledge out, because I had a window ledge up there and down there. You can see where I've picked it all the way down the bottom. Luckily, this side doesn't have them, so it's just a case of zipping them off, and that's solely because the one on the sliding door, that's coming off completely, and that's getting carpeted with some panel work done and stuff like that. That's going to look cool. This side is going to go right down to the metal work all the way down the bottom just there, so we've got to chop around and stuff like that. Nice to see the scan strut isn't leaking as well. That's where the cable entry gland, the dual one, comes through. It's where the Wi-Fi, the Maxview Roam 5G 4x4, where the 4 antenna cables come through the roof. Not a single drop of leakage at all. I'm going to get all this Dodo mat fleece off the roof, get all the thermal liner and the insulation off, and then I think it's time for a tip run. It's hard to believe that that is only some of the wood from inside. I mean, no wonder it's really close to its weight limit. Yeah, something tells me we're now ready for a tip run. Where am I going actually? Let's just hope we can get down there without actually everything falling all over the place and smashing a window or something in the back. It's going to be interesting driving this one back with no weight in it. That's going to be bizarre. It's so strange having the van completely empty. And do you know what? It actually drives really well when it's empty. Now we're going to head off down to Neil Green. He's the, what would you call him? The owner? The owner of Dubbed Out Community? Is that right? Yeah. The owner, proprietor, the admin? He's the boss. The big boss man. We're going to go down and see him, drop off some fleece that we got out of the ceiling. One, it gets it out of our hair for a bit. And two, nice to meet the fella. That was actually a really productive visit. Picked up some merch for all the festivals we're going to with them. So Dubbed Out Community, if you don't know who they are, it's a community based, I think, mainly around Facebook. And they do the odd camp out festivals. I mean, the festivals, you've got artists like Top Loader, East 17. It's absolutely insane. I'll leave some links in the description so you go check it out. But the thing I love the most about the Dubbed Out festivals, the Dubbed Out community, you can stick a sticker on the side of the van. You can buy them on their website. I'll show you mine. So I've got one, just a Dubbed Out community dock. I pulled over in Glencoe to take some pictures, and my screen wash was low. So I decided, you know what, I'll pop the bonnet up while I'm here. I'm working away, filling up the screen wash, and another VW pulled in behind me. I noticed you had a dock sticker. I wondered if you needed any help. It's like a little breakdown cover. You pull over and somebody will try and help you out. I love that community. But as you can tell, the light's fading. I picked up some merch for the festivals, got some cool sunglasses, drinking cups, some hoodies and stuff. I'm gonna work away the night trying to get this black residue off the ceiling. Wish me luck. Quite an easy, satisfying job. What I did was I got one of those Ridge Monkey things a while ago, and it come with like a cutlery set, like a utensil set. It come with one of these, just a little plastic scraper. So that's all I'm using. It's coming off well easy. Day 3, 4? I don't know. It's the morning. Welcome. Good morning. It's Valentine's Day, so we're not doing too much on this today. But while we're sat in waiting for some stuff to arrive, some stuff to get picked up, we figured we'd start doing the boarding. This is the exciting bit. We've got to get the boarding off to be able to see what the condition is behind it. First of all, we're going to be using all this boarding for templates on the next one. So go around with a Sharpie, write some absolutely stupid things on here, because why not? Boarding currently goes side to side because that's the most cheapest way of doing it. If you have a look, that piece there is a full 8 foot long piece, and so is that piece just there. But because we've got the overhead lockers and the shower and all that sort of stuff securing to this and the ceiling, we've got to change the board out for 9mm to secure it and 6mm on the ceiling, but it's got to go vertical, which is a pain in the bum. But so we're going to be able to, basically this piece here, 4 foot long because it's a full piece, and we've got the whole panel. We're just going to lay that whole lot all the way down on a piece of 9mm to be able to trace out all the cuts and everything. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier throughout the whole build. We don't know, we'll try that later, but let's start unscrewing all the panels off. Look at the smile on her face, she's loving it. Power tools. First panel, and guess what? It's bone dry. You can tell, look, no vapor barrier at all. Perfect. We're chuffed with that. Let's get the rest off. Here's a little tip for you. So underneath here, we want the actual body panel to follow the curvature of the van. So it's going to be boarded up and then curve in. But to know the exact depth, we've just got a Sharpie, going to go outside, open the door and mark it, the wood from the inside at where the groove of the van comes down. And that way, when we get the panel off, we can cut it. There's our perfect template. You can see what I mean here. So boarded up to about here, and then it's going to follow the curvature of the van all the way in. But that's the line we've marked all the way around, so it should just board straight to there. But guess what? It's bone dry again. Absolutely bone dry. Starting to sway towards no vapor barrier, you know. It's coming towards the evening. We've had a great Valentine's Day, McDonald's Day. It's the only way you're supposed to have a northern romantic day. We've got most of the panels out. I'm about to work on all the electrics, strip all them out so that I can get that panel out. Then we've already got the accumulator out, the fresh water pump out. It's slowly coming together, and so far everything's really dry and I'm really shocked about it. But someone's overcompensating with a mad exhaust driving past. I can't talk, I've got big wheels. I had a productive night last night. Loads of the sound deadening insulation got taken off the side. We've ended up with 6 extra bags of Dodomat fleece to be able to give away, and that we've still got loads to do. We've got loads of stripping out to do today, but all the electrics, they're all gone. Up here was something that I really wanted to show you. I found this bit really fascinating because this side we've got the sound deadening underneath. You can see it there and a bit over there. Then we've got the thermal liner on the top, the Dodomat thermal liner. On top of that we had the fleece. This side, however, I don't know why, but we just had sound deadening and the fleece. That's it. We had no thermal liner. This side was soaking wet all around it. Not so much on the actual sound deadening, but all the way around it, all the metalwork was soaking. This side was bone dry. So it just goes to show the importance of the thermal liner in my eyes. This section over here, I had the thermal liner on it perfectly fine, but I didn't have it right the way up, so it was a little bit wet further up as well. So the lesson learned was simple: thermal line everything. A lesson that I did learn throughout doing all of this is you don't need to use as much sound deadening as I actually did. You can get to a certain point where it's sound deadened, and then no matter how much more you add, it's just extra weight that you're adding. So for this whole van, long wheelbase VW Crafter, I've only got 2 boxes of the Dodomat sound deadening. It's the Pro version. Today, however, I have no distractions. It's not my birthday, it's not Valentine's Day. I can just crack on with work, even though the weather's a bit wet and rainy. So I'm going to strip off the rest of all that insulation down there, the bit over the bed, which I've got some news for, or what the idea is, because I can't fit, the whole 6'2" of me can't fit lengthways across this. So the idea was just to thermal line that and carpet over it so it indents into the actual van on both sides. I got the tape measure out last night with the thermal liner that's on it already, which I've still got to take off because I'm putting thicker, higher quality Dodomat thermal liner on it. It actually fits me lengthways now. I've just got to be very careful that when I put my feet against it, I don't kick it too hard, because then I'm going to start denting the outside panel. It's just a cheaper option of not doing the flares, because the flares, the side pods on the side, we have to remove this steel plate just here and move it further down to around about here. That's a hell of a massive operation, messing with the whole structure of the van, and I don't feel very secure in my ability. I can get the professionals to do it, but for me to do that, that's messing with the crumple zones of the van. I don't really want to do that. Now, if it was a medium wheelbase van, it would only come to there. So you'd just be side podding this one just here, which will fit perfectly fine. You could pick up those side pods for like 700-800 quid. The side pods for the long wheelbase are £1,000, plus the new structural beam that you need to be able to move down here, plus all the caps that go over there, plus the jig to be able to do. It's a pain in the ass. I'd love to go pods. Doesn't work on this van. After I've got all that stripped off and nice and prepared, ready to start the new one, it's time to adjust the bed, because that is a king size bed at the moment. We're going to a double size bed, so all the brackets on the Scorva mid beams just there, we've got to move them to exactly the right length to be able to get it all in nice and snug and stuff like that. That's a job for later today. Before I even start sound deadening, insulating, doing the new templates for the new boarding to go on the side, I have to put a lot of thought into the wiring, because I've got a lot of wires coming down from like the ceiling, coming down from other aspects around the van, and I have to figure out how I can get it all hidden behind all the boarding and stuff. Like, that's my solar wires just there. That's me solar, positive and negative, coming from the roof. I've disconnected them on the roof. I'm going to leave the factory sound deadening on, and up here it's dead easy to take off. You just grab it and give it a good pull. If you see like that piece, we've got the sound deadening just there, that comes off without any residue, so it's dead easy to just pinch a corner, give it a good pull, and it pulls everything off with it, just like that. Look at that. Yes. It's quite a satisfying job. The van's booked in to get some bodywork done outside on the top of the roof there, from when I reversed it into that porch that's just over there. Yeah, that was a me mistake. But the most important thing is I've had to get all of the fleece and everything out of that rib just there, and all from around the roof up there. Guess how much I actually got out of it? A whole bag full of the stuff. And I've still got that side to do, while still waiting for me delivery from Every. Amazing how much of that stuff you can actually fit into all the little nooks and crannies within a van. You see, that's van conversion 101 for 2024. You're constantly waiting for orders to arrive, but when an order is due to arrive, you get a notification that says, Tony is delivering your item from camper whatever place at this time, between this time, and you're like, okay then, yeah, sound, but what is it? Is it a truckload turning up? Is it a little van turning up? Is it a car turning up? Is the delivery driver going to be skinny enough to fit through that tiny little gap there? Am I going to need to move the van? I don't know. I need information. My package just arrived. It was me new toilet, me composting toilet that I've got, Trolino. It seems like a decent brand online, so I thought, why not? I'll try that. Now we're on about making the bed a bit wider. The way to do it, or the way we're doing it, is see those ribs there that stick out? Well, basically they're just getting cut out. We've got like a multi-tool, a rotary tool, so I thought, you know what, this is what we're going to try. Simple on-off button. It doesn't go too fast, so it might just take quite a while to actually get through, but we've got a metal cutting disc on. Let's try it, see what happens. I must admit, that was probably more hassle than it was worth, solely because I don't think I had the right tools, but there they are. That's how much extra room we've got. So, I mean, that's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and that's on each side, because I've done that side, and I've done that side over there. The problem I think I had was my tools I didn't have the knowledge on how to use tools, so I was using like proper thin little blades like this, but they just smashed up, and as you can tell by that one just there, that kind of scared the crap out of me. Then I went on to like a proper full-on metal sort of cutting blade, but it kind of bent. As soon as I turned it on, it went, no, I'm going to go sideways. Proper little cutting blade, just like on a grinder, got the job done. Now for the bed. I've got screws in the middle of each slat, so I've got to zip them out, clean up the mess I've made so far, zip them out, and then measure from the back pillar all the way down the back, 136 centimeters forward. That's where the very first beam's going to go. I'm probably actually going to put it 1 inch back and then put a piece of wood on it. See the bulkhead just there. Now the bulkhead sort of bit of wood goes straight down, but you can see just there it sticks out a little bit, so I just want to, if I can put a piece of wood on here to sort of bulk it out a little bit, then I can just put that back a bit and nice, jobs are good on. Even called a bulkhead, that bit that goes between like the living area and the garage. The bulkhead will be able to go on smoothly. That's the goal right now, is to move that bed frame slightly back. This bed frame's quite cool actually. I mean, just look at it. It can be completely universal. So you've got these brackets just here, and it comes directly from IKEA, and if you just tap it underneath, you can adjust it through this section just here. You can see how it gets longer and shorter, and it literally just clips onto that bracket just there. And you can have it any size, any length you want. They're the Scorva mid beam. Let's see if I can see it. There you go, IKEA. Scorva mid beam. It's the beam that's on the middle of most of their double beds. You can pick these up. They're when I got them, they were 20 quid each, but they don't come with the brackets. You can phone up the IKEA customer service and they can send you the brackets. But I just bought them off eBay. I bought 6 for like 20 quid, I think it was. On this van, I can get behind there to be able to nut and bolt it. If you can't get behind them, you can always do a riv nut straight in there and then just bolt straight into the riv nut. This is how easy it is. You've got the sign there, bed end. That's where the end of the bed's going. So that's where I can utilise that hole there, put that on there, make sure it's level and the right way up. That would help. And then draw the circles, one there, oh, and I've got to drill those holes out. But the idea for drilling those holes out can be done quite easily with one of these. It's a stepped drill bit. The problem with these, make sure your drill has a clutch and it is set so it is not fully on as hard as it'll go, because if this catches, it rips your wrist to pieces. With them back up in the original position that we want them in, that's the width of a double bed. It has raised two problems. They are problems, maybe more potential problems. Number one, where the bed comes out to, I don't know why I didn't know this, but you've also got the wheel arch. So the wheel arch will be encroached into the shower. So we're going to have to sort something out there. I'll speak to Lee down at VANZ Adventures. He's the one that's making all the furniture for this van. He's going to have a solution for that. Number two, we've got the edge of the beam just there, but then just below it we've got the water inlet. So I'm potentially going to have, that's going to be behind the fridge, so I'm going to have to potentially reroute that to come out sort of there somehow, if it's possible. I don't know. Just get the boarding off and have a look, shall we? I've got to strip all the insulation out from underneath the bed anyway, so I'll see you later. I got in a little bit of a funk over that whole inlet. Oh, I need something else to do, so I've started to run some cabling. I've got like the solar coming in, a couple of the cables there, everything's all labelled, going out to wherever they need to go to. Get them down to where the fuse box is going to go. Sort of the start of the sort of first fix electrics, the electrics that need to go in before any panelling goes on. You will find out that if you're doing a conversion, it's your first one, you'll get to that stage where it's like, everything's going wrong, it's taking too long, I didn't expect it to be like, all this sort of stuff. You get that. Just work through it, push through it. If you're stuck on a task, just change tasks. Move on. This is my third conversion, so I know what to expect. I know it's what it's like, but it'll be worth it in the end, trust me. Beneath the R&J swivel seat, there's the actual base, the sort of DC to DC charger, so I've got to get that off. The problem I've got is, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I've got my little ratchet just there. It's loaded up with a 10mm, so that I can never lose the 10mm, but I need an 8mm to actually do that, and yeah, I'm too scared to actually get rid of the 10mm, just in case I lose it. Am I the only one that's like that? It's starting to get a bit dark, so the footage might go a bit funny.
We had a productive night where we took out all the sound deadening and insulation throughout underneath the garage area and then re-insulated it all. We've come up with a new problem-solving tip for the inlet for the water fill. We basically ordered a rubber elbow, some straight couplers and stuff like that. We're going to try that. They should be arriving soon. We ran all the wires that we need to down into the fuse box area. The wires that we need to get in there now rather than later. We ran some more wires for the LED lights that are going to be in some of the overhead lockers, and the solar wires are now down in the garage. Tune in next time when we completely sound deaden and insulate the entire van.